The conversation from the 2026 National Diaspora Day celebration continues as experts and stakeholders highlight the importance of leveraging the knowledge, skills, and expertise of Nigerians in the diaspora for national development. On the Diaspora this week, we feature returnee diaspora medical professionals who have chosen to give back to their homeland by strengthening healthcare delivery through their knowledge, experience, and service. The session is moderated by Dr. Henrietta Uku, a physician and infectious disease expert. We'll also take a closer look at this year's theme, harnessing global medical expertise to strengthen local healthcare systems for national development. As experts share insights on its relevance to Nigeria's health sector, the discussion is moderated by Dr. Yakubu Ghana, Chairman Diaspora Affairs Committee of the Nigerian Medical Association. There is more as we bring you conversations with some of the partners, participants, and sponsors who contributed to the success of the 2026 National Diaspora Day celebrations. And do not forget our complimentary segments of Nigerian diaspora businesses, our food corner, and our diaspora of the moment. Do not go anywhere. We're here with the best menu. This is your favorite show, The Diaspora. I'm Juliana Vincent Chekubu, your anchor. Please stay. Welcome back. The return of diaspora medical professionals to Nigeria continues to make a positive impact. The country's healthcare system, through specialist services, capacity building, mentorship, and knowledge transfer. Let's now hear from some of the returnee medical professionals as they share their experiences, challenges, and commitments to improving healthcare delivery in Nigeria. The session is moderated by Dr. Henrietta Uku.
My question to Dr. Wada is, what was that tipping point? What made you pull that plug to return? And upon your return, did you have any surprises? Were there challenges? And how did you surmount those challenges?
32 years ago, I faced a decision way back in Cambridge. Should I come home or should I stay? I owed Nigeria two things because they trained me on federal scholarship. One, how can I contribute to reducing maternal deaths? Second, what about those families that were incomplete? They were looking for children. Here was I with the technology of in vitro fertilization on the palm of my left hand. I had risen in the United Kingdom. Should I stay or should I go back home? I chose to come back home because I owed the country a duty to put something back and not allow the landscape to be where it was at that time.
So I say that it's been challenging, but it's been bittersweet. I love being in this country. And whenever anybody tells me come back to the United States, I say to be clear, because people say that and think, oh, maybe I committed some crime. My name is Dr. Benjamin Anya. You can Google me. I did not. I decided, I made this decision, and it's been the best decision I've ever made in my life because I'm able to change the paradigm of healthcare. Thank you.
So, Dr. Biodu, as a neurosurgeon, I keep some tough ones for you. I would like you to help us understand what you think are the most critical factors that are hindering progress of healthcare in Nigeria.
We need to go back to the basics. And it's quite simple. We need to get primary healthcare correct. Initially, when I came back, part of the discussions I have with people is that you should go and get a general practitioner. Each person should have a general practitioner, because the general practitioner can nip a lot of problems in the bud before they become huge issues. If I talk about brain tumors, for example, a lot of patients that we see sometimes have huge brain tumors, but many of them will have been complaining years before, not having access, to the right information. If each person had a general practitioner and you presented to general practitioner, they will be able to signpost you to the right people at the right time so that the cost of care is actually minimal compared to when you get to my table and you have to spend millions. A lot of people can't afford that. So there are so many times when we actually have to put our hands up and say, this is too big a problem for us to solve here. And yet, you can't afford to go abroad. If you can't even afford to pay for that level of care here, you can't go abroad. So, in real terms, I think we've got to get primary health care correct.
Simple thing as AED, which is kind of a defibrillator. At the centers where I practice in Lagos and Abuja, we don't really need it because those are clinics. But to make sure that we have it, so that people don't have to be thinking that I'm at the place, if something happens to me, am I going to survive? Because those are the concerns or things I hear from Nigerians that they want to go abroad. Nigerians are well educated. When you go abroad, you're still going to find out that most of the people you see are Nigerians.
Welcome back. The theme of the 2026 National Diaspora Day celebrations: harnessing global diaspora medical expertise to strengthen local health systems for national development, continues to generate meaningful conversations among stakeholders. From knowledge transfer and capacity building to strategic partnerships, experts agree that the Nigerian diaspora has a critical role to play in building a more resilient health system. The discussion is moderated by Dr. Yakubu Ghana, Chairman Diaspora Affairs Committee of the Nigerian Medical Association. Let's listen to their perspectives.
I will like to start with Professor Emeritus Ma. What perspective do you think that the Niger, being somebody that has worked outside Nigeria and then here, how do you think we can harness the potentials of the diaspora health team that we have back home in Nigeria?
In the past 2 years, we've been running the radiology low and middle income country free webinar series, and this was a question that occurred when I visited Stanford University. So this is with Stanford University Medical Radiology Department. And the question was, what would be our gain in terms of a collaboration between radiologists in Stanford and radiologists in Nigeria? And we looked at it and saw that, yes, we do have a depth of radiological equipment, especially the high-end modalities like CT scan, MRI, and geographical diagnostic equipment. However, even though we do have a dearth, we are not able to optimize the full potentiality of those machines that we have right here. And the reason being that the exposure is limited within what we have been exposed to in terms of clinical, the ability to solve clinical issues. So we decided to look at how to optimize that knowledge and really be able to extract the full potentialities of the machines that we have in country.
In integrating and bringing back diaspora, we have to look at the health needs of the country. We have to key it into the priority, and that would help because we are a small hospital, 170 beds. We have been able to successfully bring back a couple of Nigerians. The head of pharmacy is a Nigerian who was there for 20 years. We got the head of lab, who's another Nigerian who was in the UK for 20 years. We have a family physician, but these are drops in the ocean. When you look at the larger picture, we could achieve more if we focus on capacity building, training people for the needs of the country so that when we integrate and network with the different diaspora associations, we would be able to harness the resources that they have that is almost limitless. Thank you.
So in the UK currently, I must say that Nigeria is the largest black nurses in the UK, and not just the nurses, across the globe. Nigeria healthcare professionals, you will see somebody, in every country. In terms of working with Federal Ministry of Health, as well as Nursing and Midwifery Council, as well as the state healthcare commissions, it shows that our nurses are very competent clinically, they provide good care, but there are issues or gaps in terms of mentoring, in terms of listening to patients, and most importantly, the resources that they're working, the environment that they're working within. So it is important that we then now had to do a risk assessment and also the knowledge gap and clinical gap between the international nurses, like the UK-based nurses and American-based nurses, especially those nurses that have worked here in Nigeria and have migrated over to other Western countries. They were able to verbalize where those gaps were. So one of the things that we did collaboratively with our colleagues in America was to develop, actually Nigerian Nurses Charitable Association UK, we developed a mentorship framework.
The truth about the matter is Nigeria already has the expertise. But what we need is a collaborative and coordinated effort between different stakeholders. And I'll explain that to you in short detail. Everyone expects just the government to be involved, but I think we have different stakeholders with different responsibilities, but the government is definitely at the center of everything. I'll delineate the responsibilities of each of the stakeholders as we move forward. First, I'll always start with the government. I want to give kudos to the government for this particular one. We have established a structured national framework for diaspora engagement, and I want to thank Honorable Abakadabiri for being at the front line in that regard. That's why I'm here. I'm able to come here because of that. Next, as a family physician who is US board certified, and I have practiced in rural and underserved areas, not just in the US, I used to be GMC licensed in the United Kingdom, and I practice in rural areas as well there with the Caribbean. I have realized that it's imperative for government to strengthen the primary healthcare system as the basis or foundation of healthcare system in Nigeria. That should be the first major priority of the government. And I'll let you know why. Because primary health is the bedrock of the healthcare system around the world. Next, government definitely has to improve the quality of lives of the local healthcare workforce by implementing policies that retain them and value them. And when we see that happening, we'll start seeing a lot of jackpot. I know you asked about jackpot. But when we see that happening, and the Minister of State for Health mentioned that the increased funding recently. I'm very grateful for that, but I think it needs to be augmented. The fair pay, very important. One other thing I think is extremely important is expanding digital infrastructure.
I want to start with a very simple question to the audience. So I don't know how many audience within this hall know Nigerian trained doctors, nurses, pharmacists, health professionals who you personally know and who are currently working abroad. I can imagine you know a lot. So just imagine that even if 10% of their expertise could be connected back to Nigeria, that would represent one of the largest healthcare investments Nigeria could ever make without constructing a single medical school. And so it is, everybody has spoken. I heard about service delivery, research, innovations, training, education, and so on and so forth. But I think the most important thing, to harness these potentials is building those bridges, as people have mentioned.
First and foremost, Nigeria contributes 26% of the global malaria burden. It's in this country. And do you know that 80% of the malaria commodities are bought from outside the country? 80%, whether we're talking about bed nets, whether we're talking about rapid diagnostic tests or even medication, a lot of it is coming out of the country. So what I do in my capacity is, again, in line with the Mr. President's agenda, Renewed Hope agenda, is unlocking the health value chain, which means how do we foster and ensure that products, medical products, are produced on the continent, most especially in Nigeria. So we work with various manufacturers to ensure technology transfer. This hasn't been easy because obviously that means that the profits will not go to these global organizations anymore, but will come to Nigeria. So we've been working on that together with the Minister of Health, Professor Ali Mohammed Pate. And this year we had, for the first time, the groundbreaking of a net manufacturer in Nigeria. And by the end of the year, they will be producing over 10 million bed nets.
Now, let's join the producer and director of the Diaspora, Mr. Gabriel Odu, as he speaks with some of the participants and sponsors about their experiences at the 2026 National Diaspora Day celebrations and their commitment to supporting diaspora initiatives.
Thank you, Jelana, our ace presenter, for that ace presentation. That's good outing. Yes, welcome to the studio. I have with me in the studio today a very, very interesting personality which we would love to meet. Welcome, Engineer Wale Oloyede, MD and Chief Executive, Green Pastures Homes and what?
And Dynamic Land and Home Limited.
Okay. The word dynamic, that means you are progressive, you are out there. Thank you for coming. Yes, you were a major partner in the just concluded National Diaspora Day celebrations. Can you give us a sense of what, in fact, that was your first time?
First time, yes.
Oh, participating. So, share your experiences with us. How did you feel participating in the National Diaspora Day celebrations?
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Gabriel. And we want to, first of all, express our gratitude to Honorable Dr. Abike Dabiri, the Chairman Commission of Nigeria and Diaspora, for the good job she's doing to represent Nigeria and to create impression or to erase impression of the people in diaspora, what they have, the impression people have about Nigeria. She's in fact, after that program, I asked myself that if we can have somebody of Abike like 100, then the kind of impression the entire world have about Nigeria would change. She said something in that program and I have been carried the news around. And I want to again say it in this program so that people, it will sound across the world. She said, and I quote,
yes.
She said, tell me one bad thing Nigerians are doing wrong, and I will tell you 1 million things Nigeria are doing right.
Very good.
That guiding my heart. I must tell you the truth, sir.
Yeah. Right. Back to the National Diaspora Day itself. You were also a major partner there. Yes. What was your level of interaction with partners, medical doctors, nurses, and other Nigerians, both those at home and those in the diaspora? What was your level of interaction?
Thank you so much. It was a great experience. In fact, other of our exhibitors, they never knew that was our first time in that program.
Okay.
Because I want to thank God for the good staff, the good people God has given us in Great Passion. They were just everywhere. Everywhere, and have a very good interaction with the other exhibitors, the guests, the professionals in diasporas, and it's a great privilege for us, an opportunity to meet a lot of Nigeria in diaspora, other in back home here, and we have a lot of. It was a fruitful event for us in Green Park Show Home. That 2 days was just like 2 months. We had a lot of contact. We generated a lot of contact. In fact, one of my staff generated. They call her. You are the Mama Diaspora. Because she was just all over the chairman.
Yeah.
All over the chairman. And I want to thank God. I learned something from the chairman, the Honorable Dr. Abike Dabi. She's just a free person. She was just everywhere, like every other person. She did not carry herself as the chairman of the commission. She was just everywhere to be sure that everybody was okay, entering every booth, and all, everybody was snappy. She was just free. I never see somebody in that high place that is as free as that woman. Honestly, I like her large heart to meet, interact with everybody. For us in Green Passion Home, we saw it as a privilege. And we want to thank you so much for the opportunity. Please, we want to thank the chairman of the commission for the opportunity he has given to us in Green Passion Home.
Thank you very much. It's nice speaking with you. We'll call you again when the opportunity plays out.
Thank you, sir.
All right. I've been speaking with Engineer Wale Oloyede, MD and Chief Executive, Green Pastures Home.
Now, to Nigerian Diaspora Business segment with Miriam Hassan standing by.
Thank you so much, Juliana. Welcome back to the Nigerian Diaspora Business segment. We're looking at a successful Nigerian business in Waterloo, Canada, where the chairman CEO Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Honorable Dr. Abike Dabi had an engagement with the KW Pharmacy in Canada. Enjoy the package. On the business segment, I remain your uncle, Miriam Hassan. Back to Juliana in studio.
Next is our food corner with Barbara Bisong. Babs, what do you have for us?
Ẹ káàbọ̀, orúkọ mi ni Barbara Bisong. Today, we'll be making a delicious traditional delicacy from Ogun State, Ikokore. Ikokore is a popular Yoruba delicacy made from grated water yam and cooked in a rich flavor sauce. Join me as I show you how this unique dish is prepared from start to finish. Let's go.
Àárò lè ti ń sọ mí láti bí ijọ́ mélòó kan báyìí. Ó tójọ́ mẹ́ta tí mo délé. Ṣá lánàá, ó mú mi káká, mi ò lè fi sára mọ́ bí mo ṣe wọ mọ́tò Ìjẹ̀bú nìyẹn. Ó gbà mí ní bí wákàtí 2 láti délé, ṣùgbọ́n níṣẹ́jú kan àti díẹ̀ èmi á mú yín débẹ̀ lénìí. Ní pápápá mo ti mú ṣe wùrà méjì, mo bẹ́, mo rín, mo dẹ̀ gbé sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kan. Àmọ́ ṣá nǹkan kan ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́nà lánàá. Bí mo ṣe ń lọ, ó kù díẹ̀ báyìí kí n délé, nǹkan kọ́kọ́ sọ sí mi lọ́kàn pé kí n fẹ̀fọ́ díẹ̀ sínú kọ́kọ́rẹ́ tí mò ń sè. Mo lẹ́fọ̀ọ́ tẹ̀tẹ̀ kan lé tí mo lò kù. Ṣùgbọ́n ẹ má jẹ́ kí n tàn yín ẹ̀yìn tèmi. Mi ò tí ì rò délẹ̀ káwọn ará Ìjẹ̀bú tó péjọ lé mi lórí. Wọ́n ní orú pálapàla wo nìyẹn? Kí lèmi rò pé mò ń sè gan-an? Kébi má fóúnjẹ àwọn ṣeṣekúṣe o. Pé láíláí kí n fi sílẹ̀ bí mo ṣe bá. Pé tèmi bá fẹ́ jẹ kọ́kọ́rẹ́ ẹlẹ́fọ̀ọ́ kí n lọ sí ẹ̀pánkúkọ̀. Kékeré má kọ́ ní kéra mọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tí mò ń sọ fún yín. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ mi náà kúkú mọ̀? Mo kàn ní kí n fi vegetable díẹ̀ sí kó lè wà healthier. Kódà gan mi ò fẹ́ fepo tó tó ìgàn sí. Ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n dúró tì mí tán ni. Wọ́n ní kí n dá sí, kí n fepo sí dáadáa. Ẹ wò bí mo ṣe gba kámú nìyẹn o. Mo bá ṣàbẹ̀rẹ̀ pé ṣé mo lè fedé tútù sí. Wọ́n wọ́n ní kò sí yọnu pé èdè ò dí ìkọ̀kọ̀ rẹ lọ́wọ́ mo ṣe fi wọn bá díẹ̀ tí mo ní lọ́wọ́ yẹn sí nìyẹn. Ẹ wo láyọ̀ àtàláfíà ni mo délé lánàá inú mi dẹ̀ dùn pé mo lọ àwọn ará Ìjẹ̀bú ní kí n kí yín o ẹ ṣeun púpọ̀.
And that is our delicious delicacy, ikokore. I hope you enjoyed how to make it. Thank you so much for joining us on Food Corner today. See you next week.
Up next is our Diaspora of the Moment with Esther Otiotio presenting.
Our Diaspora of the Moment is Emmanuel Esuko. Emmanuel Esuko is a highly regarded financial advisor, author and broadcaster, known for combining lived experience with professional expertise to champion financial empowerment and social mobility. Inspired and equipped with a renewed sense of purpose, making him a compelling voice for social mobility, financial literacy, and cultural change. Congratulations, Emmanuel Esuko. We celebrate you as our Diaspora of the Moment.
That's it on the Diaspora this week. Don't miss our next episode as we bring you more engaging stories, exclusive interviews, and remarkable achievements of Nigerians making a difference around the world. Until then, keep a date with us on your favorite show, The Diaspora. I'm Juliana Vincent Yakubu. Stay positive.